Okay, so coming to question 8 of my AZ104 series, you are working as a cloud engineer in an IT startup called ABC Ltd. To host an e-commerce site, you have one VM that has one 128 GB OS disk and one 256 GB data disk. Now there is an error in the VM, and for troubleshooting purposes, your MS engineer has asked you to add the data disk from this VM to another temporary VM. However, you want to ensure that the original VM is offline for the least amount of time possible to avoid any sort of downtime. Which action should you do first to ensure this? Okay, so which action should you do first to ensure this? Very good. Let me delete this part. This is not part of this question. Okay, so what are my options? Stop the VM that includes the data disk, that is option 1. Stop the VM that the data disk must be attached to, meaning the target VM. C. Detach the data disk. D. Delete the VM that includes the data disk. E. Run AzCopy from source VM to target VM. F. Take a backup of the source VM using Azure Backup. And G. Not possible using Azure native services. Need to use third-party services like Zerto. So this is one of those questions where, for example, your actual work as an Azure administrator, as a cloud engineer, is being validated, whether you have actually done this step or not. To answer this question, try this in a lab. Okay, this is the best way. And to answer this question, you need to know something. Okay, so what you need to know here is actually mentioned here. Okay, so what it is saying, when you no longer need a data disk that attached to a VM, you can easily detach it. This removes the disk from the virtual machine but doesn't remove it from storage. Obviously, it does not delete it. If you detach a disk, it is not automatically deleted. Now, if you want to use the existing data on the disk, you can reattach it to the same VM, or you can reattach to another one. So as long as we can detach it, we can attach it anywhere. Now you can see this. You can hot remove a disk using PowerShell. What does this hot remove means? Meaning you don't need to stop the VM. There is no need to stop the VM or make it offline, because we are talking about a data disk. We are not talking about any OS disk. Okay. So here you can see a virtual machine is referenced using get-azvm. So this is the my VM in this resource group, and then directly remove -azvm is being done. Commandlet is called, and then update-azvm is happening. It's called. So basically there is no stop-azvm. So no need to stop the VM. And similarly here also you can hot remove a data disk also from the portal. Make sure nothing is actively using the disk before detaching it from the VM, because otherwise your application state will become kind of like an inconsistent state. Here also the disk stays in storage but is no longer attached to a virtual machine. However, the disk is not deleted. So first of all, I don't need to delete the VM that includes the data disk. It makes no sense whatsoever, because my purpose is to keep that VM as much online as possible. Now run AzCopy from source VM to target VM. Again, nothing related here with AzCopy. I'm not trying to copy anything to a blob, and it makes no sense here, because there is much easier ways to do it. I can again copy the VHD to a disk and to a storage blob and do a lot of things, but not needed. Take a backup of the source VM using Azure Backup. Again, not needed. I can obviously do this and again restore it, but that is not the point of the question. Not possible using Azure native services. Need to use third-party services. This is also not the correct answer, because this is a very simple operation. You can easily do it in Azure. So do I need to stop the VM that the data disk must be attached to? No, there is no need. Do I need to stop the VM that includes the data disk? Many might think yes, this is needed, but no, as I showed you, this is not needed. This has been proved in the lab also. And similarly, if you go to this link, the other link in my reference, you can see somebody detaching directly without stopping the VM, directly attached, and then you are trying to detach it. Okay, so the answer here is C, detach the data disk. So this is a question when you need to understand and do the operation. If you feel that no, this might not be the answer, try to do it in lab once. It will take 5 to 10 15 minutes, and then you will be sure, and it will be encoded in your brain also. So there is no need to detach a data disk. Again, please ensure that the question is only referring to a data disk, not to an OS disk. It is very important. This does not hold true for an OS disk. And for a data disk, as long as nobody is using the data disk, no application is running on the data disk, you can directly do it. So basically, if there is some application, you should stop the application. Okay, inside the VM, you can stop the application, stop the services, to ensure that nobody is accessing this data disk. Then you can directly remove the data disk without stopping the application, meaning without stopping the VM. The VM is still up. Okay. Thank you, everybody.